First of all, thank you to everyone who looked at this video. On September 26, 2016, shortly after midnight, I removed an object from my ear using a microscope camera. It is in all likelihood some type of implant device. Although I cannot be 100% certain how this object got there, I have narrowed it down to a couple of strong possibilities. In 1998, I was admitted to the emergency room and later on to surgery for a self-inflicted accidental injury. This was the only time I had been under anesthesia since I had my tonsils removed when I was 7 years old. The physician on call that night knows who he is, and it was some time later that I began hearing voices. The voices didn't talk to me, but I could hear them talking. I did not share this with anyone because I was using drugs, and I assumed that was the reason. About 3 years after my surgery, after I spent 67 days in the Lewis County Jail, the voices began communicating with me. I believe it is possible that the nurse who gave me a physical at the jail was either responsible for the initial implant device or was responsible for infecting me with some sort of technology that enabled the communications I experienced. At first I could not understand the words they were saying. Within a few days I was able to distinguish some words and understand most of what they were saying to me. When I tried to explain this to my family and friends, they all assumed this was because of my drug use and I was hallucinating. I tried to explain to them that this wasn't the case, and I have spent the last 14 years trying to prove it. This has caused a rift in my family that may never be repaired. I have written a book called The Neighborhood Vigilante Redemption Committee, which describes the events and my feelings since the communications began. I'm close to attaining my BA in psychology with a 3.9 GPA. I've spent thousands of hours researching neural implant devices and other technologies that are able of causing audio hallucinations. Over the years, my complaints have mostly gone unheard, and every time I reached out to professionals, I was told to go to mental health. These are the reasons I am sharing this with you now. I now have the object you see in the photograph, along with many other pieces of information that provide evidence that I was assaulted by someone, in all likelihood the physician on duty that night, and possibly the Lewis County Jail. One important thing I want to say is that no matter who is responsible for implanting the object, I have strong evidence that others, mostly in the law enforcement community, have been able to access information that was given to them by someone using this technology. The results of my being assaulted with this technology have devastated my family and myself. My life, as well as the lives of many others involved, have been placed in grave danger on more than one occasion because of the use of this technology. The taxpayers have been held responsible for hundreds of thousands of dollars that were used to pay for the consequences of my actions, which were quite likely caused by the use of this technology. Another important point is no matter what you think of me or others who may be like me, you are not above being assaulted with this technology, and no one deserves to be treated this way. Some of the questions most of you are probably asking yourselves right now might include, is this even possible? My response to that is yes. In my book I talk about U.S. patent application numbers 2015-032-4692 and 2013-006-3550 for a user-borne portable personal digital assistant and life-logging environmental recording methods and systems by Kenneth and Curtis Ritchie. The technology described in these patents claims to be capable of causing the effects of many of the experiences I have written about. This technology has been being developed for many years. On September 27, 2016, less than 48 hours after I removed the object from my ear, the Ritchie Brothers patent number 9451899, Mobile User-Borne Brain Activity Data and Surrounding Environmental Data Correlation System, which is even more sophisticated than the ones I discussed in my book, was granted. The next question I would try to answer is why me? My answer for that is because they believed I was a suicidal homosexual with little family and few resources who would not live long enough to be able to prove what they had done. When I began to have the ability to communicate with whatever has been communicating with me for 14 years now, I told myself that I had an opportunity to make a difference in the world, and I would not stand by and allow someone to do this to my family. I'm sure there are many more questions you have. I don't have all the answers, and I know I never will. What I do have is an overwhelming desire to share what I have learned with you, so that your family will never have to endure the things that my family has been forced to. I am reaching out to anyone who is willing to help me find the truth. I ask you to please think about how you would feel if you or your loved one was in my position. I hope this video helps you somehow. My name is Charles Ray Baker, and I live in Pendleton, Oregon. Look at my Facebook pages, Chuck C.R. Baker, the Neighborhood Vigilante Redemption Committee, and the Let There Be Light Foundation. My email is crbmrr@yahoo.com. I will respond to as many requests as possible. Thank you all.